the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? I hope everyone is doing great. Hope everyone had a great weekend and that you kicked off your week right and having fun and staying focused on your goals. I know it's a blessed day for me, and I'm excited to share some different things going on. But before any of that, guys, share, comment, let us know who's in. Share this stream to a group or a friend, or tag someone to join in, as we are talking all kinds of things this weekend from Compete Internationals. I think there was probably some other events over the weekend as well, but I just wanted to, kick off with that. For me, it was a big day as
Let's talk about that.
Celebrate. It was our 18-year anniversary of Grand Slam Martial Arts today. So yeah, my school is an adult now, so pretty crazy to even think about. I have an 18-year-old kid in a lot of ways, right? So that is what has happened for me today, and man, I've had snacks and all kinds of things out for all the students and parents and stuff. And so doing all that good stuff today. So definitely a blessing. Thank you, guys. And it's kind of funny. Like I'll share a little bit just about that. If people don't know, yes, I live in a really small town, 1,700 people in the town. Okay. So people are like, when I even decided to open it in this area, people are like, it's not going to work. I really, good job for trying, but you'll be done in a few years, or you're not going to make any money doing this. You're not, that type of thing. Right. Of course, most businesses don't last five years. Right. So, the first dojo we took an old rundown bar that, had been empty for 5 years and turned into a martial arts school.
You didn't know?
Yeah, a bar, like an old school bar with pool tables, everything like that. The whole place was just yellow. The walls are yellow from nicotine. Yeah, so definitely, we did all the different stuff. Oh yeah, there was rats, dead and alive, all around there. So then it had an attic.
Alive. Yeah. That's what we say about that.
So that was really one thing. And then our new location here used to be the hardware store. So a lot of, things that we've taken that weren't, that were run down or weren't where they should be. And we took them to a place that we now have community and people and positivity. And so I'm blessed to have this, and to all the things that it has brought me and all the students in the community here. Also the Grand Slam Open. So another exciting thing to bring back as well. So thank you for everyone who is supporting that this year. So want to just give a shout out to that and everything going on with my day on that. Did you have something as well over the weekend before we get into compete talk and everything else going on?
Everything I'm doing over the weekend, I'm coaching basketball. I'm running this event. I'm doing that one. I officiated a wedding, over the weekend as well.
Oh,
yeah. You ever want some wildly entertaining wedding from start to finish? That's the way to do it. Have Alex Dingman be your officiant. Oh, it was pretty fun. You know what?
Did you DJ as well? Did you DJ?
Well,
as well?
I did. I had one of my guys did. All right.
Okay.
Which was also cool. Jason is a fantastic mixer. He doesn't. Okay. Jason needs to button himself up though. Like, Jason, why don't you just tell me you need more gaff tape? Come on, man. We're running a good ship here, man. Don't get sloppy with it. But what was funny is they didn't tell me like during like they were gonna have like a little bit with like the groomsmen and like the ring bearer. And when I asked for the ring bearer to give us, the rings, and he like stands up and then like starts to walk away, and I'm like, "Frick's this kid doing? This is why you don't have kids weddings. What's frick? Where is he going?" And as I'm starting, like I start to walk towards the kid, and like the best man like steps in front and then starts talking. And I'm like, "What is happening right now? What is going on?" They had like, and I'm like, "This is why it's important for everyone to be on the same page." Here, I almost got on the microphone and started yelling at you people. It was fun. It was a good time.
That's funny. That's funny. So several things before we get into compete. I put a post out today, just the most positive things you saw over the weekend. And I want to share some of those as well. Some have to do with compete internationals. Some have to do with just, of course, the Olympics and, USA winning the hockey gold medal. Also, congrats to Tanya Germain on her first tournament, Motown Throwdown. That was an MSKC event. The team 313, that was their first event. So congrats to them this weekend. I tell you what, man. Oh, also another big one that happened over the weekend in Texas martial arts history was Chris Minshew and both of them were husband and wife were both promoted to George Minshew and Chris promoted to 10th degree in Texas Taekwondo down there, with those guys. And so they've been around for years, both, putting on big tournaments, but also world championships in NBL and other circuits, all those guys down there. So that was a big one. And then, man, you know what? Like all the things that people stood up for over the weekend, which we're going to get into, right? We're going to get into a little bit of that. But I want to talk about some of the first. Let's get into some of the positive, the first and the record moments from the weekend, okay? If you know of some first things that happened, maybe it was your competitor the first time they won a first place in a NASCA tournament or competes, or we have some records that had happened, right? So big shout out first to Team Freestyle winning the demo team 10 years in a row, all right, at Compete Internationals. That's just mind-boggling, right? And it's crazy to me to even think they've been around that long. Like, it's just wild, right? Yeah. I mean, and it's awesome, right? It's just and the truth is right now they're doing some of their best performances I've ever seen. And competing against them, it's like, dang, like this is crazy. This is really hitting like this, And so congrats to them. Another one was, again, on something that was really cool. For me, it was, one of my students, Madeline, won the 13 under girls traditional forms grand. That would be the first time that a Korean form had won in that group, in that age group. So again, now that's 4 tournaments in a row that we've had first where a Korean form, a Korean competitor has won the grand. So that was really cool, right? So again, we'll go back at Diamonds. Noah was the first one in the junior for 14-17 male. At Toronto, Peter Carrolls was the first one 13 and under male. At AKA, Olivia Rodriguez was the first one for 14-17 female, and now Madeline Wiersma did it in the 13 and under female. So that's just progress, dude. Like, it's awesome.
It took 6.5 years, but it's paying off.
Right.
Paying it off. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Like, just it's cool to see now that people who are putting on, doing form. And here's the deal too. Maybe a few years ago when we first started, their forms weren't where they were. Now they're there, but they're also being treated fairly now. And I remember telling people, I don't think it's that people don't like the Korean forms or that, they just hate it. There may be a little bit of that, but they're not seeing enough of it, right? They're not seeing it enough. Now the judges are seeing enough. They're seeing the progress. They're seeing, okay, wow, this is really, the next level. And so, yeah, she killed. This is her first time doing OG as well. And so she has been one of those ones from the beginning who has wanted that and has been that close so many times. So pretty awesome.
That's a good point, saying that now
Yeah,
they're seeing it more often.
You're right on that. I'm talking about the juniors because that hasn't been a thing. But yeah, and congrats to Mitchell as well. I was going to get to that. Mitchell won 4 of the 5 divisions. All right, Mitchell Street won 4 of the 5 divisions and won the traditional grand. So congrats as well to Mitchell Street. That was crazy.
Well, if you think about it, Jeff, when you're saying like now that the judges have seen it more often, I think that does matter. Like I don't think that there's a judge or even competitor that didn't know what unsu looked like.
Right.
You see what I mean? Like I've never practiced Japanese forms ever. And there was a time where I could just do unsu because I've seen it so many times, right? Or super empre, right? You name it. Now, I'm not gonna make it look great like what some of the other Japanese and Okinawan competitors would do, but like I know it. So that's a great point that now, all right, Ulji was just Jeff Doss's form. That's what it was for a very extended period of time. Now we have other people doing it, and now we have more than just Gaybeck, Choreo, and Jeff's Ulji. That's kind of what it was. It was Gaybeck, Choreo, and then Jeff would do Ulji.
Right. Well, and those forms were the ones that won, but there still are people doing other ones and winning Korean Challenge with other forms. So yeah, so we're getting there.
Wait a minute now. Listen, did you see this?
Yeah,
Justin maybe has the coolest comment I've heard. Yeah. You like this shirt, by the way? Isn't this awesome?
Yeah, that is cool. Hold on.
When I was in Minnesota over just like a few weeks ago, they've got like apparel and things like this that like you can't buy this online. So I thought this was pretty cool. Straight cash, homie.
That's true. Yeah, you see Chunjang, Chungmu. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, Chungmu for most people was like a red belt form.
For some, yeah. For my style, it was like your first degree black belt form. So like how I grew up in our traditional. But hey, Mark.
I feel like Gaybeck and Choreo were pretty consistently like those are entry level black belt forms, right?
Correct.
And that's why you would see. No, it's not. That's not the reason why. That's another reason why you would see them so often. Right. But yeah, I like Chungmu. I think Chungmu, when done the right way, looks pretty dang dope.
Yeah.
Except for that, if I was something I changed that stupid stick block. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you just don't like. Yeah. I understand.
What is it called? What did you call it when you're teaching it?
I just say grab. Yeah, I mean,
what do you call that thing? When someone taught it to me, they were like, "It's a stick block," and I'm like, "What the frick are you talking about, stick block?" They're like, "Yeah, someone's got like a bow, and then you come in and go,
and grab." Yeah.
That's what you're pitching me. Like, there's been some dumb moves I've seen in forms before. You're pitching me that that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
come on.
Well, and again, Drew, saying very ambitious. I mean, I think now more people are doing Moonmoo, and hopefully other people also understand the difficulty of it. She's done it. Maddie did it for a long time. I've done it. I have another student, Ariella, that's doing it. There's several that have done it. I'm probably missing 1 or 2. So, yeah, I mean, it's oh yeah, we'll get into that, Mark. Don't worry. Yeah, and see, one has the U-shape blocked. So there's a lot of different names for it. But anyways, I'm getting all over the place with that. What we're talking about, but congrats. And again, I just think sometimes it takes a while, but I do think, and again, we're going to get to that. I think that you do see change if you go for it. You do see change in NASCA, in sport karate world, if you keep fighting and keep working, but also being respectful at the same time. So, all right. There's a couple other. Oh, Jake Presley, winning another title, being undefeated at this tournament. you know what? But I want to give a shout out to Alec because honestly, that was one of the best forms I've seen of his. And they went a split decision on that one. And Alex Jahanbash, like, he's taken that double sword form that Shaheen did, and he's taken it to the next level. Like, and honestly, this year was like, I was really impressed with just how much smoother and sharper he's gotten on that. So that was pretty cool. Also, let's talk about another first of Jason and Enrique Latona fighting for open weight, you know, head to head in the finals, you know, Jason winning that one. So that was pretty crazy, right?
Crazy is exactly the way to put it, because them fighting each other in the finals, you go, all right, this, there is some JPM-ness to this. Okay, I get it. But then Jason to come out on top of that, that's where you're like, what is happening? What is this world, right?
And the thing is, he looked good. I mean, honestly,
yeah, that's the thing. Is I can't
he should be the guy that knows how to beat him, since he's around him all the time. And honestly,
yeah,
remember,
I don't agree with that wholeheartedly, because, right, like, all right, here's a great example. I remember the first time Ross Levine roasts me every single time we talk about this, that I'm the one who ruined his perfect weekend as an adult at AKA, because he won 2 Warrior Cups, but he lost the team fighting because I lost to Hamid by 1 at a split second thing. And he goes, Alex, we want you fighting Hamid. Now I have a dislocated elbow that I'm not letting anybody know at the time. And he's like, you know Hamid the best, so you should fight him. And I'm like, he knows me the best, right? And if this guy is dropping Jason Borelli, right, with rear hands to the face, right, and he's got his leg figured out, what do you think my leg is going to happen? You think my leg is going to be better than Jason freaking Borelli's? Like, what are we talking about here, right? But anyway, so, but yeah, there's certain things like that. So that's why if it's like, oh no, Jason should fight him because he knows him, it works the same way the other way around.
Yeah, right? I get it. It's just, of course. But we're also talking about someone who is everyone's having a hard time with Enrique right now, right? Everyone is. Again, he had another great weekend, winning the overall grand in the lightweight, you know. So, you know what? Congrats to him. Congrats to Cam Dawson for winning. Congrats to Katarina for winning. All of them were killing it over the weekend. So great job. One more person, again, back-to-back weapons grands wins for Dawson Holt. Congrats, man. Excited just to see his growth. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome just to see that from everyone. I'm sure there's some other first as well. Jerry Gross, what's up, man? I know. Congrats, Alice winning her first adult first place in weapons. You know, again, guys, any first that you have, or maybe a record that we're not even taking, or just a big moment in the competition side of this. Yes, we will get into some of the other things that happen. I promise you. All right. But again, you know what? I do want to give a shout out to Compete, because you know what I think they do probably the better than almost any other tournament is highlight the former champions, right? And I want to give a shout out to that, because that is huge. You know what? Yes, LA is a great area where a lot of them live now, right? But getting to see, you know, like getting to see Rudy come on stage and present, Steve Terada come on stage and present, you know, you have Mike Chat, you have Gemma, you know, coming up there, you know, Steve Horst was up there as a coach, you know, and a lot of people didn't even recognize him, didn't even know it was him. You know,
you get pictures with the guy.
Right. There were so many different people there. And one of the cool posts that Compete put out today was all the different past champions and winners that were there. You know, like a Ray Wizard, you know, that was there. Raymond, all those guys that have been there at that tournament. There's some other ones that I probably Mackenzie Emery, you know, Marcel was out there. He showed up this weekend, you know. So I feel like that is something. Yes, it was cool for the past competitors, but also the current competitors too, to be there. And I know some of the ones that really took the time to go over there and be around them, right? and ask them questions, and maybe some people spent the weekend before there, or the week after, and training and doing extra lessons with those guys. And I think that's awesome. But it's very important that we honor the legends. Yeah, Trey. Yep.
We're
But
getting into it, Trey.
but
That ain't.
it's our show, so you know what? We can do what we want. So, so
Well,
yes.
let's stay on that topic, and I've got a couple other things I'd love to talk about, but I'll let you guide us. When we are in the building, whether it's a ballroom or whatever the vicinity is where our competition is, there is work. We can't go from one side of the room to the other, even if we
Right.
just wanted to just go. I'm going to beeline it straight. You're going to end up having minimum 3 conversations before you get to the other side. So since we're always doing that, when we have those past champions there, it should be like, hey, let me get a picture with you. Hey, let me get a picture with you. And it shouldn't be like big head elevated. It should just be like, this isn't about me as much
Right.
as it is about the continuation of our sport and activity, because if there isn't that, if it's just like what's the here and now, then it is a sport that's just for kids. And that's what we have to realize. Like the reason why kids baseball and soccer and flag football and basketball, the reason why those things are big is because when they're done with that activity, they can go home and watch this thing and go, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm going to do that when I go play. If there's none of that, then it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a fun game to play. And then as soon as I'm done playing it, I'm going to go do whatever else. The problem is with our sport is that's exactly what it's been. It's just been about whatever they're done, whatever they're doing, and then out of sight, out of mind, moving on. And that's another reason. There's never just one reason. That's another reason why once they're teenagers getting ready to leave high school, or maybe getting ready to decide, I don't know, do I want to do this thing? Do I maybe want to go deeper into cheerleading? Do I maybe want to go deeper into football? I can't do both. I'm going to just choose this other thing. And then martial arts loses. So,
Right.
But I'm so glad to see that so many of the past guys were there, because it should be like that.
Yeah, I agree. I saw some pictures of Tyler and Riker Weaver there with Raptor. And, so definitely really cool to see those guys out there, right? I mean, again, there's some other people that had some great weekends and maybe some first-time overall wins. If you guys know them, shout them out as well. I know like Cody Molina had a big weekend. Michael Molina, those guys did. I know the young girl, maybe Joey, you can remember her name. I think you're one of the judges for her in the division. She won her first like traditional overall and overall weapons title. So that was awesome. Boom, there we go. Yep. Ibby's first grand championship in his second term as adult. That's a big one as well. Ibrahim Kadir, awesome for him being up on that stage, doing it big time. So pretty cool, man. I mean, and so many, I just think overall there was a lot of positives about this event, but we are going to get into the elephant in the room, of course that, right? But I just feel like every year there's something that kind of looms over this event, which I hate the past couple of years. But
can I talk about a positive before we get into that? Because it's not going to be positive as soon as we get into that. Because I want to talk about we were talking about like the JPM thing, like how well they did Jason versus Enrique in the final. Like that's great.
Hey, stop it for a second for people, because I'm getting pissed off. You obviously don't watch our show. Dion and Trey. Okay, you obviously don't. Go ahead.
I just read what they said.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I'm not worried. All right. You have more. I'm usually the hothead, but I was thinking about this. I'm gonna switch brains for a moment. All right. So I was thinking about this, and as I'm watching Enrique fighting, and I'm thinking, now let's just think about this for a moment, Jeff. Mm-hmm. Is he, as a fighter, just take Enrique Latona? Was he think he's better than he was when he was with Damian's team? D3, like Diamond G3?
Well, he's been more successful. I mean,
But you've seen the fighting.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The fighting is the fighting any better than when he was on Diamond G3? I don't think so. Fact, I actually think the fighting may have been better. I mean, it looked like maybe he was trying to prove something more when he was on Diamond G3, right? When he was on top 10, and then he went to Diamond G3. I thought, all right, he stepped it up big time on Diamond G3, right? Because I was very critical.
Right, that
right?
year, yeah, you're right. He did make.
Did fall.
But I think he continued what he started there. If you want to say that, yeah, the momentum kept going. Yeah,
man, this JPM uniform he's getting all these calls, man. I'm watching some of these things and I am like, no, that's not a shot. It happens, man. It's just, and I don't think anybody is consciously doing it. I don't think anybody consciously goes, I mean, you got to get it to him. It's JPM uniform. I don't think that happens at all. If those things happen, it is subconscious. I don't think anybody actively thinks I'm going to do that, but man, does that thing happen. Right. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, that was iffy at best. And it was like, everyone. I'm like, come on, man. Right. So I'm just like, wow, that was interesting. He's getting a lot of calls. So then that's why I was just thinking to myself, like, is he that much better? I don't think he's any better. I'm not saying he's not great. I think he's fantastic.
I think he's gotten better. I think he's not any better would mean that he hasn't grown or improved. I think.
Yeah, that's good. I shouldn't say
2 years. I mean, I think that's kind of a silly thing to say when you've consistently beaten someone who used to beat you consistently. I mean, yeah, I would say
and that's obviously what I'm talking about. I'm talking about him and Bailey. So then I also thought about the Bailey thing, and I'm like, is Bailey getting the opposite calls? Is it a subconscious of like, we'd rather see you in purple and gold? I don't know. All right.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I can't say that I sat and watched every single thing on that. So I'm not sure. But yeah.
Something to speculate. I'm just something that popped in my mind that I'm like, this would be something interesting. And I can't believe you didn't bring this up. I can't believe you didn't bring up Jack Felton.
Oh, what? Oh, about him fighting, him and Bailey fighting? Yeah.
It's the Hey Was Fair fighting, right?
Yeah.
That,
of course. Well, I mean, I didn't expect anything else. I knew he was going to be there fighting. Why wouldn't he be there fighting?
Way to go, Jack. Maybe that's a record we should think about. How many years in a row has he been fighting at that tournament? That's true. That's a record we should maybe look at right now. Does he have the longest active streak at Compete Internationals?
I would probably think so.
Yeah. I mean,
because he's actually going there since he was what, 6 years old or something, maybe even before that.
Been there since like 96.
Yeah. True.
All
right. So, all right. So I'm trying to think of the best way to do this because we have different things. We have some statements that were made during the event, from different people about this. So let's go. All right. Here's the deal.
Should we just do it?
Picture came out. You know what? That person we thought was not going to be, let's just say it, Robert Leclerc thought we were not going to see him at martial arts tournaments for a while. He was in the building. Many things happened from that picture being out. People communicated with people. There were some other things that were happening during the event that people probably didn't know about. One was say, some of the guys associated with Promac stopped their ring and went to them to say, hey, we've made a statement because Promac has made a statement that they were not going to allow people with a history or a record of any type of rape minors, anything like that, right? They made that statement last year, when everything came about, when we first started talking about this. Okay. So for you to know, yes, we've talked about this plenty of times. And they talked about, yes, he did. They have opened another school in Florida.
We don't know. But
They went. I'm sorry. They went to the promoters or the other area and just said, "Hey, we're not going to continue judging, and we will probably have some people that will come with us. You know what? If something isn't dealt with, if you're not removed." So that was what had happened, and they didn't return back to their seats to judge until that was handled. So that's what happened there. He was not allowed back in, I believe, on Saturday, or even in the evening that night, the second part, once people had found out what had happened, right? Or that he was still there. Again, people are wondering how this has happened. You know, again, I don't know everything, right? I know how people feel, and where was this at? In California? Yeah.
It was at Compete.
Yeah. And so, I think he's asking where in Florida. I don't really remember. Yeah.
We don't even know. We just, you know how the thing works. You hear through the grapevine, man.
And so immediately while this was happening there, of course, the tournament's going on. There's people, sharing everything about that. And then, like Maggie Messina, who has put a lot of money into the sport, into NASCA, she, makes some posts, is talking to people. Her and Alex put a couple videos out talking about this. She says that she is no longer going to support, NASCA from this. So I think that from that, some statements were made. Some people were making statements that, they feel like, hey, something needs to be done. Obviously, some of the judges and some of the parents there said something while at the event. And something was done. My thing for me is like, when you have something big like this has happened, right, in your life, and you were in the wrong, or you got in trouble for something, this was years ago, okay, but then there was something else that came up, like, why keep pushing it? Like, why, like, because here's the deal with this. I believe that it's all just it's making it about them instead of about the sport and our athletes. And truthfully, that's what bothers me the most, is that we got to talk about this on our show instead of the athletes that our sport is about. You know what? But now we should talk about protecting our athletes and making them feel comfortable, as well. And what is the right way of doing this, right? So, and I think that's the other thing. Carolina makes a point when people say, "Hey, you got to let this go," or "It's not a big deal." I think I can get into this a lot of different ways, and I don't want to make it to where I put my feelings into this, right? Because that's not necessarily always the right way either. I have to step back and look at it from both sides. Not meaning like on his side, but just on like the actual legal side of this whole situation as well too.
And when we say look at it at both sides, we're not saying a side is a good side or a bad side or a right side or a wrong side. We don't have anything to do with any of this. The problem is this type of situation, understandably so, is so volatile. This type of situation is very emotional. So what can happen is if you don't immediately echo what someone thinks you should, you're the part of the problem. And it's not necessarily the case. So let's look at it from different standpoints. NASCA, as an organization, does not want this. They don't want this from any position. All right. Years prior to this thing coming out, their organization, their schools, they were elevated to we were talking about before the show, they were in some tournaments as like Hall of Fame, even the Diamond Nationals, right? That's pretty freaking high praise. Whether it was deserved, I don't know about that, right? But that's where they were, all right? So now things happen with their son. They come out. And it was, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Dig, dig, dig. We find out not only did that happen, oh, there was a past over here. What? Then it's, oh my gosh, how could this be the case? I get it. It's very emotional. None of it's okay. All right. The problem is for NASCA, now they're thrusted into this situation where now they have to do some policing. They don't have nothing to do with them, right? So when they say, we don't want this happening anymore. We don't want you guys here. You're done with all your schools. Your schools are gone. All your people left. Okay, cool. We're moving on. You're not going to come around. You're not going to be here anymore. One would think that's just the sign to go, all right, it's time to move on to another chapter of life. And I can understand how they feel like this whole thing that came out didn't have anything to do with like Robert and his wife and their schools. Like it had to do with what their son did. And then now their whole livelihood and everything just got ripped out from underneath them. And this was part of their life and their identity. And now it's been ripped and they feel unjustly. And that's where you got to go, ooh, maybe not unjustly, pal. All right. Maybe not unjustly. There's some culpability here. And what do you want the competitors, the students, the customers, what do you want them to do? All right. To just say, suck it up and deal. You should be comfortable with wherever I'm at. It's not my fault. You should be comfortable. And that's not fair either.
No, that's not fair. And that's not right. And it shouldn't. And it shouldn't be. Yeah. Guys, the other thing though is there's a whole nother thing that there's a reason why no one knew about any of this. And this was hidden because he wasn't on a registry. Excuse me.
So what that means, and that's what people need to understand. So what that means is that he could essentially, if he had a
background check, yeah.
If he had a background check at a school where he was going to be a chaperone for middle school field trip, he'd be perfectly fine to go do that. All right. And you're going to go, all right, yeah, legally he's perfectly fine to go do that. All right. If he checks all the background checks, everything's good. All right. So now you go, well, then why are we
in that area? Yeah.
He needs to be something more than what this school would do. I'm just using that as an example. All right. Now it's a little different. I don't know why he wasn't on a registry. I have no idea. All right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a great lawyer. Had one that kept him off.
Again, guys, we're speaking about something. We don't know all the details. Yeah. So, who knows? We could all be putting ourselves in wrong spots. But I mean, here's the deal. We are speaking out about this and talking about it. When I saw that, yeah, of course, I got pissed as well. There are people that are choosing what tournaments to go to based on if they are going or not. And not meaning just him. They don't expect him to be there, but even just, the family, even, because of issues between that, right? Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, exactly. Because, well, let's be honest. Yeah, there you go, Sue. So the registry didn't exist at that time. So
that's a good point.
I think you're in the New York area, so you know that part. So there are things like that are, yeah, it's that's where our legal system and some different things have to improve, right? So I don't know. I do think here's the thing. I do think that people are trying to. Yeah, we did speak about Yoskar. Yeah, we did. we spoke about it happened. Yeah, we did. So that I think that there are some things being that are going to move us in a position that hopefully is everyone feels better and safer. Again, I know everyone just immediately wants something to happen right then. Again, obviously, yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that he should, that he's even, showing up. But you know what, to me, that's, again, to me, he's making it about himself. So even if he is legally able to do that or not, I still feel like that is where it's not about the competitor or the sport, So,
and if he does, and we have no idea, if he does feel like he was unjustly, like basically kicked out of this entire sport, I could understand if he's upset at that. It doesn't mean that it's not justified, right? So, but at the same time, you got to look at it and go from an organizational standpoint, like, what do you expect? Let's just say I'm NASCA for a moment, right? I'm not, all right? Nobody would ever want me to be, all right? If I'm NASCA, they could look at it and go, what do you want me to do? You just want me to say, yeah, come on in, and then upset everybody else here because you feel like you were unjustly kicked out? Like, what do you want us to do? Need I remind people? There was a promoter of a national tournament who was basically kicked out of all competitive martial arts for a lot less, right? So, and he was gone, right? So, if that can happen, you're gone, right?
Right.
So, anyone who has ever had, who's been in any kind of influence in a martial arts school, you got it. Like, the number one rules are you're not as important as you think you are. All right. And people don't like you. You think they like you. They like the position you're in. You're not actually that great. Sorry, you're not. So this, for the end of time, there'll always be this dynamic of the number one that you don't do. If you want to destroy your school, don't do this one thing. And that's the thing that destroys martial arts professionals over and over. Stay away from kids. Stay away from the kids, man. That's all you got to do. Don't be diddlers. So, I don't know. Did anybody else have any interactions? Did anybody else like have conversations? Did anybody else have feelings one way or the other? If you guys were there, I mean, we're just really the voice of the people here, right? And so I don't know what the right answer is to do, but I think the right a good answer could be to just pull them aside, level, and go, this, you got to know this can't continue. All right. So if you think like it's going to be you or everybody else, you're going to be the one to fall. You're not going to win this. Right. And you should, like, what do you want? What's the end game? Right. What's the end game? Right. Where people are unjustly like kicked out for things all the time. Right.
You might be the first person to ever call Alex normal, but thanks, Tim. Sorry.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, man, yeah, I mean, it's frustration. And again, I felt uncomfortable, disrespected, and I expressed this at the event. My thing too is it's just going back to what happened last year and what had happened. Actually, this whole situation has been going on for many years to girls in that school, with the son, right? And also another instructor there. So it's not just, yes, a 14-year-old and a 23-year-old and different ones that had happened years ago, but also like what has happened to many of the people that are still competing now that were a part of that. Right. So that where this all kind of came out from that situation. So, it's just bigger than this one thing that happened 20 something years ago, I think is what a lot of, for me is sometimes what gets looked over. And I don't think that's right. So, because there was a lot of young girls that were hurt recently, as well. So, yeah, it's just an ongoing thing. So we got to remember, and again, this isn't just the one school. There's other programs that have happened. We talk about Yoskar, that that's a crazy thing, and we haven't really heard much about what has happened since then. There's so many situations with this. Again, McDojo Life has done a lot with this situation of posting about that. And so, again, I feel hopefully some people are moving things forward in the best way we can. And again, what we need to do, we got to exactly, and still being hurt. The other thing though is like we got to keep our eyes open. We got to do better as just martial artists, instructors, competitors, judges, parents, everybody do it like our job. It's not pointing one thing at another like, oh, this is your fault. No, it's like we all as a community just have to be a team and be there for each other. And if something, I mean, and again, it doesn't always have to be just in this situation. It could be, hey, you're being a little rough to your son right there. You know, you're being too hard on this. You know, there's some things going on there that are going on. Because I mean, I grew up and I remember seeing some parents, you know, like beating their kids that were in my division. You know what I mean? If they didn't get what they wanted, you know, or if they messed up, you know. So it's more. There's just so many things and types of abuse that are going on. So, yes, we want a safe one. You're right, Lisa.
So having boundaries and checks and balances in place are vitally important. But I mean, there's been martial arts schools who have been sued when the actual nothing happened at their school. Nothing. There was no fault from the owner. Nothing happened there. It was just two people met inside the school. They took it somewhere else, happened somewhere else with something. There's no way anyone could know. And then now, after the fact, they go after this guy. And that stuff happens, right? And so you constantly have to, if there's whistleblowers out there, blow them whistles. Blow them to save even the people who are doing the offenses. You're going to save them from themselves, and they won't feel like this. They won't feel like they're being saved, right? But it's just, and it's never just that. You got to have them for everything. I mean, have you ever had it, Jeff? I'm going to ask you a question. This is a personal one. Has Shelly ever got pissed at you because you talked to a parent of a student and she was like, why are you talking to them a little bit extra? Has that ever happened? Anything like that?
No.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I had something like this. It wasn't from the karate school. I had something that wasn't even that long ago. It was like a week ago, where I was telling one of my son's classmates, all right, we're gonna take him to a basketball game. And they were like, oh, my wife was like, oh, you should tell so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And then I went and told the mom, and I was like, hey, we're going to take Zachary game. It's going to be on yada day and time, but Lindsay's not going to be there. She's like, oh, okay. And then when I went back and told Lindsay, she was like, so you're going to have a date with this other woman? And I'm like, whoa, no, not at all what I'm doing. But then when I sat back and I'm like, oh my gosh, it does kind of look at that, doesn't it? It can look like that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm in a certain amount of trouble, right? So, but that's something. It can be something that seems like so silly, stupid, and innocent, but then now it's flipped like that when you have the same exact thing just turned slightly, and now you got to look at it from this. You're like, oh my gosh, this is stupid, right? Why did I do that, right? But imagine if that actually went through. Now it looks like I did do that, right? Blow these whistles, guys. Blow these whistles. If anybody knows, start looking into this stuff. But it happens at the ground roots. It happens in the schools.
Yeah.
So now definitely. All the comments are rushing through. All right. Love this.
Yep.
Troy, all I do is spit out inside thoughts. You know me.
Right. So, all right. So it's hard to transition.
That's the thing, is like the sanctioning rules. What are you going to do? Just say, all right, anybody who has this type of background, they're not allowed. I think that's fair and just. Sure, they shouldn't be. All right. And I think that's fair. But then the problem is you got to execute these things. So now if you say, yeah, that's the case, anybody who's got this kind of background, you're out. What are you going to do now? You're going to background check thousands of people that aren't even competitors. What are you going to do now? Right? Because,
well, I mean, some places. So again, like we've talked about this before, organizations that are, and I guess some of them are like, what do you call it? Not non-for-profit. So they get a big support, like a AAU or even like a WACO and those types of things. They do that for anyone that is above 18 as a competitor, and also anyone that is a coach or a judge, right? So you have a thing called no. Well, I mean, I think he's watching right now, so Leandro. So no, we haven't thought about having him on the show, but because again, I don't.
I just don't know the upside.
Yeah, I don't like. I still want. Never mind. I'll just keep
I
some.
just don't know the upside, because what are we gonna do? Like, it wouldn't be good for him. It wouldn't be good for anybody.
So yeah, he said, I know not all background checks cover everything, but the U.S. martial arts team has had all of our coaches get a background check through the AAU non-athletic. Yes, I got 3 different ones last
cool.
year. So I mean, for WACO, I had a Safe Sport one, for AAU, and then also USAT. So like, I mean, and here's the deal, guys. Like, that's just part of it, I mean, and again, they'll email you and say, hey, everything they found, whatever, like, again, you could have some issue or whatever that happened, but if they feel like, who doesn't do background checks? You're saying, I'm not sure who.
NASCAR background checks.
Oh, no. So,
yeah,
but like, again,
that's the thing, is that the NASCAR is an open sport. It's an open organization. It's an open sanctioning body. Anybody can come in, just register, then boom, you're in. Right? We're not excluding. We're not a closed organization. We're not ATA, which is like you can only be a part of this if you are an ATA student and member. Like, I couldn't just go enter an ATA competition. You can't do that, right? So they can do that and control that a lot easier than something like ProMac or USA Sport Karate.
You're saying, Andrew,
or NASCAR. I mean, the best that we can do in those open, sanctioning bodies is just to say, if we see anything like this, if we hear anything like this, we're going to address it immediately and aggressively. It's just the best they can do. All right. Now, once we get to this point and they're like, and the person is going, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. Now it's like, what? Come on now, man. Why you put us all in this position? Now we got to enforce this because of what? For what? What are you looking to gain?
That's where, that's where I think we also have to keep our eyes out too, because they're doing something to stir things up for a reason. So, we're talking about the background check. There was something else I was going to share about on that. Noreen talked about just from the AAU, but again, in that situation, I think that was after the fact. I'm not really sure. Oh no, this is where it is. All right, agreed. I did hear that this weekend too. Some, because it was open sport doesn't mean you can't ban people. Exactly. Like, I don't understand that, and this is where we go back to, honestly, if background checks or things like that will be a part of being a member of NASCAR, then we should do it. And you know what? Like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
There should be something apart. Like, again, I'm okay saying that everyone that comes to a NASCAR tournament has to be a NASCAR member, because here's the deal: every other organization has to do that. You know what? AAU, WACO, all of them. You can't go unless you're a member, and then part of their thing is doing those checks, right?
Yeah, and I think that's NASCAR's always presented itself in the sense of like, there's something for everyone here. Everyone can come here and feel welcomed and can participate. There's different levels now. There's A, there's AA, yada. So everyone can come here and feel like they have a good tournament experience. And so making it like, no, we're closed. You have to be an NASCAR member. Otherwise you cannot compete. Right. on its face goes, that's against kind of what they've kind of built themselves around. Maybe it is time to pivot. Maybe it is time to pivot and go, we're letting too many, foxes in in the hen house. We need to know exactly who's going to be at all of our events. And that's okay to do. I am actually at this point, I'm okay with it too. Because I think once we got on to like everybody has to be like either a Mat Action or Uventex member, right? In order to register for this event, there is no more like, it's just kind of for anybody. Like you're not showing up to any of these events anymore unless like you really know, right? Those ones are really only for like the semi-local competitors that are like red belts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Other than that, like how many of those are really there?
AAU does it for adult competitors too, because for AAU Taekwondo and I had to do it for that. Not even just if I was signed up to be a coach or an adult, you have to they do a background check. So it's not just the coaches and the judges, it's also adult athletes as well. Same thing with WKF as well. So when I was going to be helping put on a USA NKF tournament, that was something that was a part of that as well. Everyone that was even volunteers had to pay for that. So I know that's a lot,
Yeah. And then that's a tricky part too, because every tournament can always use twice the amount of volunteers that they really have. Right. And so when you're trying to get someone and you're like, man, we're a week out and we need,
I agree there too a bit. That's the thing that that's where I don't get now, where I've been told that isn't the case. And I don't understand that, like I just thought you can refuse entry to anyone in your business or your event. So I don't know where that is not happening or.
Well, and that's where you have to look at that and go, all right, let's say just compete. All right. Let's say that one. All right. Who's the head? Is it Compete Internationals or is it NASCA? All right. So who has the final say? Is it Compete Internationals because it's their business, or is it the group NASCA because it's their business? Like, where does it's easy to go, well, listen, I'm just the tournament. I'm not the organization, right? The organization has to say that. And the organization could say, listen, we're just over here overseeing everything. It's not our tournament. And I think at that point, someone has to go, we're done. So, right. So maybe this closed circuit is the right thing to do. Being big picture.
Yeah.
Oh, Timothy, you're right on. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. 100%. That should be on a t-shirt too.
Right. That's true. Oh man. Hold on. Both. Okay. So
both what, D? Good that you're chiming in. Good to see you, by the way.
That's guys, I've done this plenty of times. Every time if I'm an adult athlete, I get the same thing if I was a coach or not. I'm just telling everyone I've dealt with it. Now, unless they just changed it, okay. But if I was doing it to be a coach or whatever, it was 18 and up. Has to get it. So whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, you're right, D.
Yep. Promoter and NASCA. Yeah. All right. So transitioning, honestly, guys, I mean, again, we've had a great talk about this. Again, if you want to listen to more, go and look at Alex Reyes's video with Maggie. Maggie also made many different posts as well about this. Yeah. So, I hope that some things come out and some, positives come from this week of everyone talking about this and trying and pulling together. So I think that's where, we have to take from the bad and turn something good into this. We're already an hour in.
Okay.
So let's see. Again, one thing we haven't done is talked about our sponsor, and hopefully, I know for them that they are going to be one of the events. I feel like that's going to be going the right way, just from knowing them. Now, we will see with that, but I believe so. And they are Ocean State Grand Nationals, April 10th through 12th, in Warwick, Rhode Island. And again, I know they had another crane tournament over the weekend, and next week they will be coming on the first half of our show to talk about their event and everything going on and the excitement that's going to happen at Warwick, Rhode Island for Ocean State Grand Nationals. And then also the second half of the show, we're going to have the new Adidas group. So the Adidas traditional Taekwondo circuit, the heads of that league are going to be coming on and discussing that and how they are going to be a part of, some of these NASCA events and also some of the other, I'm trying to remember the word that they used it, but we'll find, some more things and some other announcements that they're going to have about the league and about how to make their Adidas team. And some of the events that team will be able to go to, and just another way opportunity for Korean martial artists and Taekwondo and Tang Soo Do athletes to grow and have more opportunities that will happen in NASCA and also outside of NASCA as well. So, hey, Jonathan. We've been waiting on your comments all night, Jonathan. We've missed them.
That was great.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the questions I'd love to ask someone with Adidas is, how did Adidas get so deep into Taekwondo? Like, when did it start, and how did that start?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. Well, these guys aren't gonna know. They're not actual parts of it. They're the one that are.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
It'd be like if we were to say that, Under Armour now is a part of WKF. Like, that'd be a pretty freaking big deal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. David, you're right. Yeah. This weekend in Kentucky is one of the tryouts for WKU, which will be in Abu Dhabi this year. Noreen, you guys have a tryout coming up in March as well for WMAC. Is it March? I believe. And I'm sorry, WMAC. Yeah, did I say that right? I think so. And then I know that there are all kinds of ones going up over this weekend. Let's see what else we got. Lots of big events and small events over this time of year. We don't have, from now until April, we don't have a NASCA World Tour. But there are a lot of big time, highly competitive events that are going on that
I think I'm trying to remember if there's a big event in Europe around this time. I think there is one in March. I'm trying to remember which one it is though. Because this is tricky, because you got to think about it. The two biggest tournaments that used to be in Europe were Irish Open was number 1, Austrian Classic was number 2, and they were both in the spring. Now nothing. So, but I think there was a change in the schedule. Oh wait, no, isn't Milan? I think Milan moved up. I think they're in the spring now.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I know there's a big one coming up.
The Hungarian Cup is in spring as well.
There we go. That's the Italian one, is in 3 weeks. That's
there we go. That's what I was thinking. There we go.
And also, even Century made a big announcement over in Europe as well, that there are going to be some Century featured, like a series, a WACO series of Century events. So, and yeah, man, Marty, he's got his event coming up, Tournament of Champions.
Oh, there we go.
Dude, again, someone just messaged me and just, you know what? They had a crime that they did, and they were banned for 2 years from their sport. It had nothing to do with kids or anything. They were banned for 2 years from their local league. Now, was allowed to come back later on, so there's so many different things that people have done or have, and things that we gotta focus in on all this, right? Again, we're talking about ICO USA. There's so much going on. Thank you guys for shouting out all the different events going on. I know we got some ProMac events. We got Waco. Yep, Hungarians in August now. It got moved way later. So ICO USA, Brett and pushed the wrong one. Starcade. Oh, Murphy's is coming up as well.
There we go.
Brett and Sue talking about Adidas gear. And yeah, man, so many events coming up. So lots of fun. And so again,
next week, the new Adidas fight gear, is it any good?
I haven't. David, what's up, my friend?
What's happening, David?
Oh man. Politi just said 17 tournaments in the next 18 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. I understand. This is what I've been doing. Why did I stay home and not go compete? Because I was working on Grand Slam Open stuff and also enjoying being home. So yeah, it's wild. Freedom Cup coming up. That's awesome. It says Brunswick. I thought it was in Jekyll Island, but okay, Brunswick, Georgia. Awesome.
You know how some people feel uncomfortable when they go to tournaments and they got to sleep. They got to sleep in this bed. And like, I don't know this bed. You probably feel like that on the weekends in your own house. And you're like, man, I don't even know this bed. What is this bed?
Yeah. Sue says that the gear's great. She likes the gear.
I mean, I've seen some of it. I've seen I think the headgear. The headgear was all right. The hand pads are like what the hand pads are going to be. All right. The foot pads, I don't know if I've seen the newest ones. I'm critical of foot pads though. All right. So I was not overly impressed when I saw the last set of Adidas gear that I saw. I was not impressed with the foot pads. Now, their Taekwondo uniforms. That's the best Taekwondo pants you can get is those pants. That's the freaking best. Literally that and no pun intended, best. You know that brand? Best?
Yeah, Best.
Very good. All right.
There's a good.
I don't love Taekwondo tops.
Like the dough box, like the pullover
rubber band.
Yeah, I know and it comes like all the way up to here.
All the way up to here. Like, what are we doing this for? Just for like ventilation? I'm good.
Agreed. Oh man.
All right, guys. Send us some foot pads. I'd love to look at these. I will even talk about them on the show.
True.
I'm easy to find.
True. All right, guys. So again, thank you. We're talking about the full event, not just the bad, but also the good, and really bringing on. She hates the V-neck. I still like a V-neck top. I like a bold look V-neck top. If New Tradition was still around, I would probably still wear that. Okay. So yeah. I like my Century pullover tops that I wear.
Look at what Joey was just talking about.
I know we were talking about Pine Tree.
We were literally just talking about this before the show.
Belts. This is my Sing Musa belt. That's just freaking awesome.
Yo, I actually agree with that middleweight uniform, the old school Pine Tree uniform. Those things were good.
Yeah,
but
really
can we pause for a moment and just kind of lean into this for a sec? So I was really looking at this. Remember, Jeff, when you and I were looking at, I think it was like Bluegrass 04. Remember when we were looking at those videos? Yeah, we're gonna get into this, guys. Jeff and I at one point we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna go over that tournament because that tournament was freaking fun. Anyway,
and no, we're gonna dive into like that whole year, like 2004, like because one of our favorite episodes was we did a 2-part series on the year 2000. And 2004, yeah. I think we've talked about it a lot with some of our guests.
It's one of the last great years.
But yeah, dude, that year was so pivotal. What's really funny too is that, Compete put out a lot of video, moving into their event, right? And they put some videos out from some of the forums of 2004. And Steve Tarai put, man, 2004 was a great year for forums. And I'm like, bro, it was a great year overall. Like we were just watching this Bluegrass video from 2004 that Wally put out. and the
just
fighting in
fighting.
that was so awesome. And then you got to think about the forums. Then you got to think about just that tournament itself that year. I mean, we can run down, like what was cool about that video was that it started with Jason and Raymond fighting each other, and it ended with Jason and Raymond fighting each other. That tells you a lot about that year, and also that time period. And then you also have, again, today they put out the video of who won the Grand, in the Forms Grand, Gabe Renaga, like returning after almost like 9 years, of being on top, and winning that Grand Championship. And then we talk about, Anthony Murata winning his weapons Grand Champ. There's so many things that happened that tournament, but also just 2004. So,
well, and I can't wait to get into it. It'll probably end up to be a 2-part episode as well.
Yeah,
but
we love watching Nancy on that video too. Maureen.
Oh yeah, she was good.
Yeah,
she had a good tournament. Is when we were watching that. Speaking of the uniforms, you still had some guys wearing just school uniforms, right?
Yeah, school uniforms. And then here's one thing that
uniforms.
This was just that time when people really were like not tucking in their uniform. There's someone on that video, someone in front of me right now, not tucking in their uniform, not wearing a belt, just looking sloppy, and then he also wore like it was pretty bad, like there was some definitely, some, like, that was the first thing I watched this video and I'm sitting there like, am I seeing this right?
Would you
I text you, I was like, bro, what are you wearing on your head? Like,
oh my gosh.
For some reason, I did not remember that because I was there at that tournament.
Yeah.
And actually,
I had
Damon,
we'll
talk about that because he used to give me his video camera and I would film it.
Who did? Wally?
No, Damon Gilbert.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm filming, and he just said for like years, him and his wife would listen and watch that video and just crack up at some of my comments that I was saying. And you're just like, dude, this was the best.
You were talking trash about me.
About you, talking about Damon and Robbie, and oh my God, just the fight. It was just crazy. So yeah.
Well, okay. Yes, you're right. And we're going to get into that. But I want to get into when you were talking about, like, it was like one of the last great years. If you think about it, Jeff, it's a lost art going from a heavyweight uniform that you just did, forms and fighting in the same uniform. Like,
yeah.
When was the last time you really saw that? Really, I think John Sue might be one of the last people I've ever seen do that. And the reason why John Sue didn't have like a fighting uniform, because he didn't have time to change. He was going to go do runoffs in that same uniform, right? Talk about a true competitor. So you'd go do your forms, just like we're doing the school, and then boom, just go fight. But even in schools now, we got like fighting uniforms in school. Sometimes kids can wear t-shirts and it's cool. Don't worry about it. We're going to have ourselves a good time. But really, just to be disciplined, to just be like, I'm going to wear, this is my uniform, the word uniform. We're all in uniform, same thing. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Now, if I had to wear that, oh man, would that feel weird?
That's true. I mean, I even like sometimes like, all right, you need to do this lesson in your full uniform, because they don't most of the time, you know what I mean? Or like their white heavyweight uniform. So many people don't do classes in that anymore, right? People don't fight in that anymore. I mean, at Super Grands, I would have to, one year, 2007, I was doing Korean, ran down and had to do continuous. And I would go between the 3 floors, and just said, I'm not changing. I'm just gonna, and people look at me like, you're wearing that for continuous? Yeah. What do you want me to do? Like, what does it matter? We're fighting. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think it's cool when people do like forms with like a fighting top, right? Didn't Tim Conkle do that most recently? I feel like he did.
Him and I talked about this, man. And we talked about the other day. So he was one of the first people sponsored by Top 10 and Fighters Inc. And they were trying to sponsor forms people, right? To do that. And he was one of the first ones. Also, the Chases were later on, some other ones. And so he said, dude, what's funny is that I think I did some of my best forms ever in that uniform. And it's weird to even think about that, but like seriously, like, so it was pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, I love that. I like doing my form in my like black and blue, like, or my Century pullover. That's a middleweight, you know, it's the same. It's the fighting uniform, but it's the same material that you're using, you know, for your form. But back then we would use heavier uniforms for open forms. You know,
Yes.
a lot of times, like,
Really,
it wasn't
like,
later
almost a
on.
true heavyweight.
Right. I mean, I don't even remember until maybe 2008 or 9 when I really stopped doing that, you know, and now I'm back to doing it. And because, dude, these freaking Century uniforms right now with the pockets, bro, I love it. And then, oh, here's one more. When people would have their tie over uniforms and then tuck them in for fighting. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was a very 1999, 1998.
That was, well, before that, yeah, that was a very New York thing. Like, you know, Hector Santiago would do that. Those guys, Peter Lunde, all those guys who do that. I kind of thought that was cool. Again, I still say, Roxanne says KI uniforms.
Oh, the KI uniforms are super cool. I like those.
Yes, Daryl, you too. You wear your heavyweight. Yeah, I wear my heavyweight top, my heavyweight pants. I like my white top and my black pants. And dude, but Daryl's got one of the Daryl's got one of the coolest. You know, his is like gray. People talk about my gray.
His is gray for sure.
Uniform top.
His uniform looks like he's plucked out of 1993, 100%. Remember when the people, and then like the uniform would either be gray or it would be like marbling. It would look like it was, your uniform looked like it was like lightning, but it was really just the way it washed and dried.
Yep.
But who's going to be the next top fighter that just comes out in a full heavyweight cross top tied on the sides uniform? Who's going to do that? I don't know. Probably will be the guy to do that will be Cam Dawson.
Yeah, I know that Cam. Well, I've seen Cam do that at other events, you know, like outside of like a JPN sponsor event, like, you know, like,
yeah.
Well, and I think he got, like, he asked for a pullover top, like a crossover top. I saw some of the guys wearing that for a while, you know, and there was a time when JPM did that, like around that maybe 2003 time or something like that. I know I've seen like Mike Pombero wear one before. I mean,
I've seen him wear one.
You know,
Preston wear one.
Yeah.
Reggie
Preston.
Perry.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was like that time frame. Yeah. It was like right around then.
Yeah.
I think it was before the Exodus.
I think so. And then I think they did it again later on too. But I thought Travis said that he got one of those before, but I don't remember.
He did. But I thought it was a V-neck. Maybe I'm wrong.
It might have been a V-neck. You might be right. I don't know. This is where we love just getting into other stuff.
We're literally just brainstorming at the same time.
I love it.
So I like these. So like we've talked about favorite belts. I like a Tokaido. I think those are awesome. Bear Brand, Pine Tree. I think those are fantastic belts. But uniforms, to do one uniform to do everything in, if you had to, what would you do? No, man. I mean, maybe I think it might be Pine Tree.
Yeah.
Macho has a pretty good middleweight uniform.
They do. I mean, again, I like this honestly, this brushed cotton one that Century has now is like, it's a heavyweight 10 ounce and it pops, and I can spar in it. I can grapple in it. I can do forms in it, everything. So, and it's got pockets. So, I mean, just saying.
So do you like your uniform to have pockets? Oh, Drew, I love a Bear Brand belt. Those are great belts.
Yes.
That's one of the things I loved most about those rec suits, because the rec suits had real pockets like that. You put your mouth guard in your pockets, all top 10 ASGs, you know, they ain't got no pockets, right? You're putting that thing in your belt. You know, it's what you're doing with that mouth guard. You're putting that thing in your belt. Then you get out there and you're sweating all over the thing. It's still in your pants when you're sweating over it too. But it's, you know, you got it in your pocket. You feel better. You like those cargo pockets?
No.
I
no.
hate those cargo
Right.
pockets.
When I first opened my school, again, 18 years ago, today,
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
I think Bullock at the time were doing these cargo pants, gi pants, like, and I just said, hey, let me try it. It was whatever. And honestly, like, I couldn't do it. It was so bad. It was bad. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. These look ridiculous.
I seen guys at NK. They were like, "Oh my gosh, those things are so cool." We're like, "Nerd."
Right.
Those things look so nerdy. You're
Well,
out here.
what about the old back pocket that all the Century uniforms used to have back in the day? Right.
People geeked out over that back pocket. Like it
Dude,
was like,
I know.
like it was remote control.
My friend Doug Armstrong, he has like he created like a Velcro thing to put on his uniform to where he created a back pocket for like all of his pants that didn't come with that. He passed because he loved those Century pants, because a lot of times they stopped doing it like that for a while and then they brought them back. Because like the first ones I wore back in the day, when I was competing in NASCA, for like 94, 95, white top, black Century pants, and they were tight. They're pretty tight. And they had that back pocket, dude, and the big Century on the logo on the back.
Really like that back pocket. Okay. I have a story about these cargo pockets, right? Those things that Century made, right? Those just nerdy looking pants, right? So there was like, why in the world would you have cargo pockets? One on each leg, right? Like where is all this cargo that you have that you need, that here you put them in your pants while you're teaching a karate class? What could you possibly put in there? Maybe an attendance card, something like this. Listen to this. You could probably find this like on YouTube, right? This is as a kid, he's helping someone with like their self-defenses, like teaching them how to do like a hip throw. This kid has his car keys in his cargo pocket. He gets thrown. Well, as he goes in the air, the keys fly out. And then when he lands, the keys go directly into the bottom of his foot. The key is lodged into his sole of his foot, just right through, right? And when you watch the video happening like in real time, like you don't notice anything that's happening. And he's in shock and he gets up and he's like, my key's in my foot. He's not even screaming, nothing. And you're like, oh my, you need to go to the ER immediately, right? And it's directly right in the center of his foot. And in this video, if I can find it, it even shows like the x-ray. Why would you x-ray, right?
Right.
You could see the keys in there. I don't know, maybe to see if it broke, who knows? But yeah, that's messed up, right? Mouth guard in the back pocket. Everybody put the mouth guard in the back pocket. We all did that.
Right.
I can't believe people didn't like the back pocket.
We're forgetting about these pants that they used to have, okay? Because here's the deal. Do you remember when a lot of these pants were like kind of look like bell bottoms, and they also had like the string was like crisscross like your shoe, like right in the front. Do you remember that? It wasn't even like a drawstring, like traditional drawstring. No, it was a drawstring in front with the elastic band. That was what I grew up on, and I was like, what are these?
They're literally stylish pants. If you were in the 70s, you're like, this is the most ridiculous looking thing ever, right? And I had drawstrings. I think I actually had a pair of those pants, but I like the opposite. I like a taper, man. I want it to taper right at the ankle. Good Taekwondo pants, right?
Oh yeah,
like the Adidas. So I thought those things are the best. Even when I would do open or creative or extreme forms, I would use like a pine tree top, and I'd take a best pants because they wouldn't have the big Adidas symbol on the front of the leg.
Right.
And I would just get those pants, and that's what I would compete in, because those things felt amazing.
See,
wear after work.
Which was karate. I mean,
well, Drew's right. There did used to be a top that was like, it was almost like a crop top What was
That
that?
was that was a 90s thing, bro. That was like Atomics and, like I said, Full Contact. Those guys that had those. Yeah, that was definitely a thing.
But was that even a tie? Something makes me feel like that was a Velcro, which wouldn't have made any sense. I never wore one,
I don't know, bro.
but it was like a 3/4 sleeve. It was literally a crop. It did not even get to like where the belt is. It was so nutty, right? Did you ever have one of those? Did you ever put one on?
I don't think so. Yeah,
you
Joey
could-
said Mask could rock
Three-
those. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think I did. Yeah, Tony said
Michelle
80s.
Mouse Cresno. Michelle Mouse Cresno rocked no top. That's what she rocked.
Yeah, made them from the 70s on. Those are big here in Kansas. They were Velcro. Okay, he's right. Yeah, they were Velcro.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. All right, so they were. How that doesn't make any sense. But maybe, you know what though? Maybe it was designed so that when you were fighting, ripped open, then you look cooler.
Well, that was a big thing. Remember, like the tearaway pants and everything like that. Like, yeah, I think they created some of those like that. Oh,
But even fighters would do
the
that.
thing about the
Oh
Velcro-
gosh, I knew guys that would cut the strings
right.
off of their uniform altogether so that when they were fighting, it would just fly open and you just see the chest hairs just dangling out there.
Bro,
Right?
yes, and I know just the people that do that, still do that, and they did that with their karate uniforms, and they'd have it just wide open, and then they would do that with their regular button-down shirts or whatever, and walk around like, what are you doing? Like, no. Kicking jeans, yes, were made back then. Dude, we were having so much fun with this talk. I'm glad that we're having a little fun.
Did you ever have a pair of kicking jeans?
That wasn't that like when I was coming up.
Yeah.
That wasn't like a thing, and then they brought them back, right? And do you remember who the guys that was in the kicking jean ad?
It was Chuck.
Well, yeah, but later on, and like when they brought him back, like 10 years ago, Cass
Sigmund.
Cass had some of this kicking jeans, dude. Yeah, he went to and did like a photo shoot for that. I think
Cass Sigmund
Yeah.
was in a kicking jeans ad.
I think he wore a kicking jeans ad. Yeah, so pretty funny. There was some. Oh, I know it was the cargo pant thing. Like you still see that in the martial arts world because it's a big thing in like Krav Maga circles, right? Because of it being the best way for you to get to your knife. Okay, if someone is on top of you, and especially in like a mountain position, you're not necessarily going to be able to get your knife from the pocket because their leg is over top of you, so you can pull your knife from the cargo pants. So that is a big thing. Why? Like it's kind of funny. You see a lot of these guys walk around the cargo pants still, and that's one of the main reasons why.
But there are also the people that dress like science teachers, you know the ones I'm talking about. Like in the summertime, they got those sandals that basically look like, hiking boots, but they're still sandals.
Yeah.
They got the pants that you look at it and you're like, I feel like you wear those to go fishing and out on a Saturday night at the same time. Right.
Correct.
And you're like, I feel like you only shop at Eddie Bauer or LL Bean,
That was a good Eddie Bauer or LL Bean. That's pretty much it.
Everyone, any like social studies teacher or science teacher you've ever had, that's where they get their stuff. And you know what? You know the kind I'm talking about, the ones that got the plaid button up and the best. They got the best.
Oh, this is classic. This is great. All right.
Watch that be a little segment that AI selects for us.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, of course, we're talking about wetting the hair. That's a whole another thing. But that started way before that, Obeda. That was like, and I can't even. I mean, that was a big thing, like Carmichael Simon and John Belair. But it happened even before that because they made it look cool. But people did before that because like Chris Casamassa used to do it, Mike Bernardo used to do it, Stephen Ho used to. All those guys used to do it years before. So yeah, that was a big thing. And they
Bernardo actually might have made it look the best. Now that I think about it,
yeah, I think so.
I mean,
One more thing.
John
So
and Carmichael had the most success. So we think that they were the best. It actually might have been Bernardo. You know who low key looked like pulled it off and looked good was Joey Greenhaw. Remember when he did it?
yeah,
Joey Greenhaw had
though,
long hair.
Yeah, that was insane. So a video I watched today. Yeah, you're right. Ernie did it as well back in the day in some demos. A video I watched today. So I'm teaching my nephew how to do like the bow right now, and showing him how to do. Because again, we're in the Virginia area. We've grew up doing more. You know, it's still when we say traditional bow in our area, traditional bow means you're doing, you know, sushi no kan or something like that, right? So trying to expect, no, this is going to be, thanks, David. This is going to be like, all right, think fast bow, but without flips, right? So who are some of the people that if I'm trying to show them an example, again, there's some people in this world right now that would be great. But I said, hey, this is old school. And my nephew at 10 goes, that's fine. Old school is the best. I was like, yes, you're definitely related to me.
Wow.
And so think of some videos or some bow forms that I would probably show them.
Gary Waugh.
Boom. How'd you get it? Oh,
Gary
yes.
Waugh.
Gary Waugh was the one I showed him. All right. Showed him first was Gary Waugh. And you know what? Later I'll show him Casey and I'll show him. Well, I think my brother already showed him Casey. And then
Wayne Douglas, Daryl, I like that. But Wayne was so fast that would probably be hard for him to see what's happening.
And of course, I'll show Mike Bernardo as well. But to me, man, there's nothing like Gary Waugh because, and the thing is too, like Gary and Mike, and even Casey, some of her earlier stuff was what traditional weapons is now, right? So like to, you know, to show them what Gary was, and guys, literally everyone go out and watch Gary Waugh right now. The fastness, the speed, the power. Burned—that's a great one too, Brett. But the power that he had, the intensity, everything to me, like I'd put that up there right now with. I would love to see him versus like a Jake Presley in that division right now.
That'd be cool.
You know, that would be cool, right? And
you know, another person I would think, like if I was in that position, like I got to show him someone like that. I'd show him those. I probably Lauren Carney.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like Casey's. Yes, more accomplished. I would say Casey's better, right? Sure, but sometimes
he's the one who taught her, right?
Yes, but sometimes Casey is so dynamic, and so intense that sometimes, like if I have to show this to a student, like here, do this, they could get caught up in the performance in the show, and they might miss what's happening with the actual technique and performance.
Right.
And I think Lauren, you may not get that as much, right?
Right. Yeah, it's true. You're right, and I think, even
I don't think Ross Levine ever did traditional. Ross Levine was traditional.
Yeah, he won.
What would you quantify that as?
Yeah, he won. He won a lot of traditional weapons, and then also, Ross Levine was probably one of the most successful traditional weapons like coaches too for a long time. Like he taught a lot of different people with traditional weapons in their form. So,
I guess maybe I would just look at that as creative weapons.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. He did both divisions, Alex. You're thinking about just his one that he did all the neck rolls. Yes, that was his.
Yeah, you're right.
He also did traditional as well.
Okay. See how quickly I can admit that I was wrong there. See how much am I growing in that?
With traditional bow. Yeah. So I think he's only lost. Actually, only like the last time he lost a division, a traditional weapons, a traditional bow division, was when he was a junior. Joey.
Jake,
yeah. Now, last year was one of the first times he had lost the traditional weapons grands, and that was to Dawson. Dawson finally beat him at AKA last year. So, yeah, I mean, I think it was the only one time he's ever lost in the final. So crazy.
I mean, Ryan Gosling.
Oh man. Anyways,
Pretty good.
all right, guys. This has been a great episode. We've had some fun. We've talked about some highs, some lows. We've talked about moving forward. We've talked about, like what are some things we can do? What are some things that we can actually do, like, and what we should do? And guys, just stay together and let's just keep pushing our sport forward. All right. Next week we're going to be talking about Ocean State Grand Nationals with a group that is doing that, and then also talking about the Adidas Taekwondo League. So we're going to be asking. This is a great time to ask questions. This is going to be a great time to just hear about two great events and people moving the sport forward. And we're excited to partner and work with them. So
Insiders were fantastic this week. Love all the comments. That really, I mean, this was fun. I feel like we were all together, chatting together. Do it again next week when we have the promoters on too, because we're going to talk about OSGN. This is going to be a great one.
Yep. All right.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you next week.